While it may seem that accidents are unfortunate events, it's not always the case. They are not always a bad thing. Some accidents can lead to really cool stuff. Think about it. Some of the things we use every day were actually discovered by mistake. Scientists or inventors were trying to do one thing, but oops, something else happened, and it turned out even better. So, accidents aren't always something to worry about. We're going to tell you the story of how some common use items got invented by mistake, and we can't be happier about that. Let's start the video. Number 1. Dynamite. In the mid-19th century, nitroglycerin became a crucial component in various industries because of its explosive power, particularly in construction and mining. However, there was a major issue with it. It was highly volatile and unstable and would occasionally cause injuries and accidents. One day, Alfred Nobel, yes, that Swedish chemist who would later establish the prestigious Nobel Prize Award, was working with the substance, and a vial fell off the table to the floor, and instead of blowing up, met a pile of sawdust. Miraculously, the sawdust stabilized it and no one got harmed. This gave Nobel the million-dollar idea. How about perfecting this accident to make something viable? He refined the mix with kieselguhr, a silica form, and formed the dynamite concoction. What started with a shattered vial and lucky landing revolutionized explosives. Nobel's unintentional discovery not only transformed industry and construction, but also laid the explosive foundation for the dynamite we know today. Number 2. Post-it sticky notes. While adhesives are supposed to provide a strong grip, what would be the use of a weak adhesive? You may think, the Post-it notes, right? And you won't be wrong. Actually, these small sticky paper sheets were also the result of an accident. In 1968, 3M scientist Spencer Silver stumbled upon a seemingly useless weak adhesive during an experiment called acrylic copolymer microspheres. Silver's invention, which lacked a clear purpose at the time, got shelved because they just couldn't think of a purpose for it. But in 1974, a fellow engineer at 3M had an idea. A singer in his church choir, Art Fry, was constantly frustrated that the bookmarks in his hymn book kept falling out, causing him to lose his place. At this moment, he found a purpose for Silver's weak adhesive. The result? The birth of Post-it notes. A seemingly insignificant accident led to a revolutionary office essential. Number 3. Champagne. For centuries, champagne has stood as the timeless symbol of celebration, extravagance, and class. But we have Mother Nature to thank for its existence. Why? Let's see. Champagne's journey began with a simple accident in a French monk's cellar. Back in the 1400s, Europe faced tricky weather changes that messed with winemaking. When spring warmed things up, the wine started to ferment again, making it fizzy. At first, people didn't like the accidental bubbles because bottles kept bursting, and the fizzy wine was a no-go. But by the late 17th century, a monk named Dom Perignon was on the case. He made the bubbly drink better and richer. Even though other monks worked on it too, Perignon is often called the creator of champagne. So, next time you raise a toast at a happy moment, remember, you're toasting to a fizzy accident that turned into a beloved alcoholic beverage. Number 4. Stainless steel. Steel is mostly iron, and iron loves to rust. But in the early 20th century, a cool twist happened. A metallurgist named Harry Brearley in England was busy finding ways to make gun barrels last longer. One day, he made a mix of steel with chromium, and bam! Rust-resistant stainless steel was born. Unlike regular steel, this new metal didn't corrode easily. Initially, Brearley's invention was a solution to a gun problem, but soon it became a game-changer for everything from kitchen utensils to skyscrapers. Who knew that adding a bit of chromium could turn rust-prone steel into the shiny, tough stainless steel we know today? Now, whenever you use a stainless steel spoon or see a glimmering building, you're looking at the accidental brilliance of metallurgy. Before we tell you more accidental inventions, please press the like button so the YouTube algorithm lets more people see our video. Thank you. Let's continue now. Number 5. Slinky. In the 1940s, an engineer named Richard James was working on a project to create springs for instruments. One day, he accidentally knocked a bunch of coiled springs off a shelf, and to his surprise, they didn't just fall, they gracefully walked down instead. That's when the Slinky was born. James realized the potential for a fun and entertaining toy. He fine-tuned the design, and in 1945, the Slinky hit the market. Who would have thought that a simple accident in a workshop could lead to a toy that has been delighting kids and adults equally? Number 6. Teflon. Let's talk about Teflon now, the kitchen material we have in frying pans that lets our eggs slide off easily without sticking. In the 1930s, chemist Roy Plunkett was working on a refrigerant, but things didn't go as planned. One day, he found that his experiment produced a slippery, non-stick substance. This accidental discovery turned out to be Teflon. It was resistant to heat, chemicals, and sticking. This was the perfect recipe for a non-stick utensil. DuPont, the company Plunkett worked for, soon realized Teflon's potential and introduced it to the world. Now, it's the magic behind non-stick pans, making cooking and cleaning up a breeze. Number 7. Potato chips. Chips. The ultimate love of every snacker was also the result of something unintentional. Back in 1853, in Saratoga Springs, a chef named George Crumb was having a bit of a rough day. A customer complained that his fries were too thick, so George decided to play a prank and slice the potatoes super thin so it couldn't be picked up by fork. To his surprise, the customer loved it. Those thin, crispy potato slices turned into the first ever potato chips. What started as a kitchen joke became a crunchy sensation. The accidental invention spread like wildfire, and now, every time you reach for a bag of potato chips, you're savoring a tasty slice of history born from a playful chef's unexpected twist in the kitchen. Number 8. Velcro. Did you know dogs and Velcro have something connecting them? That's right, in 1941, Swiss engineer Georges de Mestral was out for a walk with his dog. They returned covered in burrs. Yes, those annoying prickly seeds. But instead of frustration, George got curious. He discovered that burrs have tiny hooks that cling to anything with loops. The man got inspired and created Velcro, a combo of velvet and crochet. George mimicked nature's design, using hooks and loops to create a fastener that revolutionized closures. From spacesuits to shoes, Velcro's grip became a global sensation, and now we see it so commonly. Next time you fasten your shoes effortlessly, thank George's dog walking discovery that turned a pesky problem into a brilliant solution. Number 9. Plastic. Usually called harmful to the planet, we can't deny the fact that plastic has single-handedly revolutionized modern society. And it also had a fascinating origin. In 1907, Belgian chemist Leo Baekeland was on a quest for an insulating material. His experiment led to the accidental creation of Bakelite, the first synthetic plastic. Earlier plastics had relied on organic material, but this one was something new. Bakelite was durable, heat-resistant, and versatile. This discovery marked the birth of the plastic era, transforming industries and everyday objects. From Tupperware to toys, plastic's impact is everywhere. Who knew that a quest for insulation would give rise to a material shaping our world today? Baekeland's unintentional invention turned out to be the building block for a material that has become indispensable in our daily lives. Number 10. Inkjet printers. Inkjet printers were also a result of a fateful accident in the late 1970s. One day, an engineer, Ichiro Endo of Canon, was exploring new technologies. His accidental discovery happened when a hot soldering iron accidentally touched a syringe filled with ink. The ink shot out in a fine spray. Inspired, Endo collaborated with Epson, and by 1984, the first inkjet printer hit the market. This accidental innovation revolutionized home and office printing, making it more accessible and efficient. Who would have thought that an unintentional encounter with a soldering iron could lead to a device that puts vivid images and words on paper with a simple click? Now you see, accidents do have a positive side, And I'm sure you believe in that too now. That's it for this video. We have another set of accidental inventions video on our channel, so do check it out. Thanks for watching everybody, and we'll see you soon again.